Rhetoric or MGTOW and video games. And today, this Daisy Thot is going to try to say that MGTOW about how MGTOW is really all about. So let's see what this trad Thot has to say.
Hope you're all well. So I released a video recently called Why Are Young Men Choosing Celibacy, which was a discussion of the most recent statistics from the
Get on to the topic, not with I made a study about how I get it about celibacy and stuff. Get to the point already. Wow, look at the amount of makeup she has. Wow, that's crazy. Did she plaster? Hang on, guys, she put white paint all across her skin.
General Social Survey in terms of Americans and their life between the sheets. According to the survey, there is a disproportionate spike in men aged 18 to 29 reporting no sex in the past year, which is a social oddity that can be explained by a number of factors. Anyway, a set of initials kept popping up in the comments, MGTOW or MGTOW. Now MGTOW...
Wrong! It's MGTOW, not MGTOW, you shit fuck.
Can be described as the cousin of the men's rights movement. It deals very much in male autonomy and freedom and is of course very anti-feminist, which is fine. Now, even though I explicitly stated in my video that I was not actually talking about MGTOW, those attached to the group took a great interest.
Again, it's MGTOW, not MGTOW. When will you ever learn? Shitty Daisy.
In the video, considering of course that it did cover a number of their bases. So considering this interest and considering that nearly every live stream I've done, one or more of the questions I get is, what are your thoughts on MGTOW? I
MGTOW again.
thought it was probably time that I address the topic. So just a bit of background. MGTOW stands for Men Going Their Own Way. It is a lifestyle choice and indeed a philosophy that recommends that men rally against the societal model of marriage and children and quite literally go their own way. They are encouraged to work hard at their own pursuits and generate resources for themselves and discover new hobbies and interests and all in all pursue what could be termed a higher purpose.
In this part, you're actually right. But I only think this is the actual right part, so let's begin.
And of course, because of the feminist-driven anti-male narrative that goes through popular culture, it is no wonder that men are opting out. Now, this isn't a new concept. They've always been what you'd call confirmed bachelors, you know, men who were more interested in finding enlightenment in solitude rather than in family. And there are certainly men who, through whether having damaging experiences with women or their own keen observations of society, are well placed to go their own way. Like this gentleman. I'm a social guy.
Oh, yes. Well, but I'm tired of this. Let's go to the actual argument.
In this video, I'm not talking about gentlemen like him. I'm talking about gentlemen like...
Get to the point already. Oh yes, you're cherry picking comments so that you can get something that you're cherry picking comments because you don't want MGTOW to, you want MGTOW to have negative, you want to have negative opinion about MGTOW because you don't like their opinion.
Here's the thing. Just like any ideology, there are certain toxic elements that give the rest of the groups somewhat of a bad reputation. And over the past few days, a rather large number of, dare I say it, toxically masculine men who claim to be MGTOW but are actually something else have hijacked the comment section of my video on male celibacy. And since this is not...
Oh yes! Toxic masculinity bullshit! Again! How much more stupid this toxic masculinity that it's bullshit.
Not the first time I have encountered these types of MGTOW, I guess you'd call them extremists.
Oh yes, not that you cannot shame them as gay, incel, misogynist. Now you have to call them extremists. You're so dumb.
I have decided I'm going to call them out. So,
And I have decided to roast the shit out of you.
fellas, you asked for it. Here are my thoughts on MGTOW.
MGTOW! How many times do I fucking have to tell you it's spelled MGTOW, not MGTOW?
Now, let me be clear before we go further. I am not talking about all MGTOW men. If you are the kind of confirmed bachelor I mentioned beforehand, you do you, good for you, go your own way and be happy. God bless you. I understand your decision. I am instead talking about trolls who give the rest of MGTOW a bad name.
Oh yes, the evil trolls! Yeah, you're really stupid. Oh, the evil trolls! That's bad, toxic trolls. You're basically like the NPC. She's here is a non-player character trying to attack MGTOW.
Men who use the philosophy as an excuse to vent their own resentment and frustration. These particular MGTOW extremists seem to really have a gripe with the fact that not all women are interested in them.
MGTOW are not even interested in women. You're talking about incels. You have the wrong title. You should say what incels are really about, not MGTOW. You're dumb.
The way that MGTOW extremists try to justify this sexual frustration is through something they call the 80-20 rule. This has been
Actually, the 80-20 rule is true for an OkCupid study. How do we know? Because the OkCupid study has data which we can use to prove the argument. And I doubt that you would actually accept logic because you're so stupid and dumb, you don't understand a single flying fuck about it.
explained to me in two ways. The first is that 80% of women are interested in only 20% of men, and the second way is that women only find 20% of men above average in attractiveness and can...
How do we know it's true? An OkCupid study did it, and we all know that it is true. How do we know? Because an OkCupid study does prove that these things happen. How do we know? These studies produce the vital data that prove our argument. This data is important.
Consider the remaining 80% below average. In other words, these MGTOW extremists think that women have impossibly high standards that make it very difficult.
Well, being 6'5" is a standard which only 5% of men, 5, not 20, can achieve. There is no self-improvement to add an inch of height. You're stupid. A shitty old hag that is going to hit the wall, or maybe has hit the wall, which explains so much makeup. You actually painted yourself in white paint.
For your average Joe to find a date. And theoretically, they are correct. It is hard for any man to get a date. The onus is very much on men to make the first move, so of course men will be rejected a lot, which is not fun, very unfair. But there are two ways a guy can react They can pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and try again, or God forbid, self-improve. Or they can sit on YouTube all day and leave comments like this.
Excuse me, how do you self-improve in adding an entire inch of or two in height? You seem to be really stupid. If you think you can add an inch of height and you have to be 3 hours, I think you need to be a lot of hours in the gym. And only then, if you're a lot of hours in the gym, could you expect a fat woman to date with you. What you're trying is impossible to achieve. Shut the fuck up. I freaking hate women. It would be hilarious watching them die alone, and I'm delighted not to have them in my life. They didn't say, I hate women because they don't date me. He said, I'm delighted not to have them in my life. An incel would never say that. You Daisy cousins lie.
Side note, it is so interesting that these guys claim to be going their own way and eschewing all things women, and yet they seem to spend hours and hours every day on the internet talking among themselves about, well, women.
Let me tell you something. A cancer patient wants to see cancer eliminated. What does he do through the day and hours? Of course, talk about cancer. Or law enforcement. Law enforcement will try to eliminate murderers. What do law enforcement say to? Well, they talk a lot about murderers. You're so stupid.
Sounds like you're still pretty stuck on the idea of women, fellas.
That is so lame.
Back to the 80-20 rule. Now, how did they come up with this very specific number? Well, it seems to be based on a study by OkCupid, which found that, if you look at the dotted line there, women ranked 80% of men as average or below average looking on the website, while ranking only 20.
That's not the same graph we're talking about. That's not the same graph.
Resources, which is another MGTOW gripe. Apparently, women are only interested in men with good jobs and saved and other assets. Well, to that, I really only have one thing to say.
Oh shit, Sherlock.
Of course, women are going to be more attracted to guys with a good job. You really think a woman is likely to want you long term if you live in a basement and sit on your computer?
Actually, we MGTOWs have the money to buy our own houses. Again, you try to make generalizations that are not fucking true. You lie.
All day trolling the internet and eating fries? Hell no. And if you think she should be attracted to you, well, you're the one that's entitled. But funnily enough, it seems that MGTOW extremists have it wrong when they suggest that women are only interested in a small percentage of men who are gorgeous looking and rich. Look at the graph again. See that thick blue line? Well, that line indicates the rates at which women actually message guys on
Not the same chart.
OkCupid.
Just because she may be messaging you doesn't mean you get to go in her panties. Stop lying.
As you can see, even though women rated only 20% of men as above average, they didn't actually.
Those 20% got to go in the panties. The others' text is all maximum they could get.
Contact them. The bulk of messages from women went to men they considered either average or less than average in looks. So while women may have very particular tastes when it comes to her ideal man. Usually she won't chase him because she knows full well he likely won't be interested in your average Jane, which is what most women are, and they know it. Look at this global survey by Dove, which found that 96% of women worldwide rated themselves as...
That's because most bitches have low self-esteem. Let me tell you something. Just because you rate yourself above average doesn't stop them from demanding above average men. You're lying.
average when it came to looks. So women, according to the very study cited by MGTOW extremists everywhere as proof of
It's MGTOW again.
their assertions, are very clearly more interested in chatting with your average Joe rather than your so-called Chad, because
Chads and Joes do exist. And just because she texts doesn't mean he gets to go into the panties. You are really wrong if you think that he can easily go into there.
women mostly think of themselves as average as well. This blunder by MGTOW is without a doubt one of the biggest self-owns I have.
I would say that you can self-own yourself, you stupid little shitfuck, more than enough times by your stupid arguments. Come on! The only reason people watch your channel is because of all that makeup and white paint you put on your entire body. If you dressed up as a man, you would have less subscribers.
Ever seen from any group of people, and that includes feminists. So now that we've torched that little gripe with logic,
I would say that I have torched you more than enough times, you silly shit fuck.
and facts, we can delve right into the mindset of your MGTOW extremist troll. One of the main talking points.
First of all, it's MGTOW. Second of all, we are not extremists. We don't want to spend time with women. The only reason we talk about women is how to get rid of them from our lives. Basically, how to stay away from women. Because there are new and newer generations of men that should at least have a warning when it comes to women dating and such. That's the only reason we talk about it.
Is female promiscuity and how they object to the fact that so many women have apparently had hundreds of sex partners in their 20s. But it goes beyond just standard slut shaming. MGTOW extremists are of the...
Oh yes, you're using slut shaming. And speaking of that, the more dicks a woman sucks, the more likely you're gonna get divorced, raped, being taken away your assets. You're very stupid, to be honest.
belief that female promiscuity means a woman is all used up. They do not like the idea of women having sexual autonomy or sexual choice because
they can have choice, but we should also have choice whether or not we want old used up hags or not.
They think it depletes something called their sexual market value. MGTOW extremists do not believe women are equal to men. They believe their only value is in their sexuality or lack thereof.
Wrong! We MGTOWs consider them equals. That's why we treat them as a man. I.e., we do not open their doors, we do not spend time with them, and such.
Because ultimately, a woman is closer to property or livestock than a person.
Wrong again. We MGTOWs do not consider women as property or livestock, and we have never been. We consider women as if they just don't... We consider women as useless, but property, it's not. Why would I want a useless used up hag as property? No, I wouldn't. That's why we don't consider you as property. We just leave you alone. You can do whatever you want. Shut the fuck up. We don't care.
Women who aren't virginal are seen as second-hand cars to be settled on temporarily if necessary, but avoided if possible for newer, shinier models. MGTOW extremists, unlike MRAs, oppose all waves of feminism and even believe that women should lose the right to vote. Take away.
Yeah. Why should women vote if they haven't fought in a war? Women haven't paid taxes, nor have they ever fought in wars. They have not earned the right to vote. Women have earned. Women do not go to the draft. Why do you think they should have the right to vote while not having served anything? This is the most delusional thing that I have ever seen.
Away women's voting rights, stop empowering women and send them to homemaker school for 6 weeks when they're 17, so when they're 18 they know how to treat a man. Needless to say, this is a fundamentally messed up way of thinking.
I would say that you're more messed up in your brain or lack thereof because of all the makeup than these victims ever were.
It's old style, Old Testament, medieval, genuine misogyny. The silly
Oh yes, misogyny. You always throw up that word when you don't have something benefiting you and your gynocentric bullshit.
microaggressions that third and fourth wave feminists keep on yakking on about. And trust me, if you know me, I very rarely call something misogyny. I use that word very sparingly.
Yeah, very sparingly but you use it all the time when you criticize MGTOW for not giving you all the resources.
So if I'm saying something is misogyny, well, you can be pretty sure that it is.
I'm pretty sure that what you say is bullshit.
So all in all, MGTOW extremists aren't men going their own way. They are bad people.
I'm going to say that you're worse, and the only thing men going their own way want to do is live free and do whatever they want. But obviously you don't like it because you don't benefit. The only extreme person here is you, not us.
Using the movement to exercise their own bitterness.
Again, we're not a movement, we're a philosophy, you shit fuck.
Hatefulness, and general appallingness.
I would say that you're more appalling and shitty than these victims ever were.
And sure, some of them may have had very bad experiences with women, but I'm gonna guess that a lot of them actually haven't. Probably many of them haven't had anything to do with women, and are simply
That's incels. We MGTOWs probably had experience with women. If we MGTOWs never had sex with women, you can always know that it was our choice, because we don't want to deal with women.
incels, justifying their own lack of sex appeal by claiming not to want it anyway.
No, we actually, incels are totally different from us. Again, you use this incel shaming tactic because you are stupid and you don't have any useful arguments.
It's the same as saying, you can't fire me, I quit. Speaking of feminists, MGTOW extremists have a really funny habit of behaving just like them, which is ironic considering how
I would say that you have a funny habit of being stupid and shitty, just like every other transport disgustingness that I have ever seen.
they vehemently oppose them. But think about it. They both demonize the opposite sex and make wild generalizations about
You make wild generalizations about MGTOW, and our generalizations are mostly true.
them. They both engage in radical identity politics. They both
I would say that you engage in simp retardation politics.
have a raging victim mentality and think everything wrong with their lives can be blamed on somebody else.
I would say that you have a victim mentality, and that's why you blame your stupidness on MGTOW, and that's why you shame us for looking like a potato. You shame us and blame us and for looking. You use us as a victim tool because you honestly look like a stupid potato.
Any hint that maybe a little bit of self-improvement?
A little bit of self-improvement can only get you so far. What women want in the modern world is 6'5". You cannot achieve that. Stop being idiotic.
Would make them happier is met with aggression and resistance by both groups. They both insist that only they can understand their plight and nobody outside their own group is allowed to have an opinion on anything to do with them.
Actually, I'm allowing you to have your opinion. I'm just here stating that your opinion is bullshit and wrong.
Both groups willfully misinterpret things to suit their own.
I would say that you misinterpret studies and everything we say against us, you shit fuck.
Narrative. Just as feminists misinterpret the gender pay gap, so do MGTOW extremists misinterpret the 80-20 data from OkCupid, as I mentioned before. On a more personal note, they also willfully misinterpreted my video.
I would say that you misinterpreted MGTOW as incels in your video, which I'm currently roasting. You stupid hag, which you honestly look like a stupid potato that should be roasted. And little Irish Tommy, once you stupid potato gets roasted, will go hungry, and the happy British will live a successful life.
I assumed that because I mentioned video game addiction twice as a factor in male celibacy, and because I said women couldn't be forced or socially engineered to do anything because that would be authoritarianism, that I actually meant it was all men's fault and that we should take away men's video games and that women didn't need to change a thing. That's not what I meant.
Oh, I'm sure you did mean that because most of you women would never talk about fixing yourself. You would blame everyone else for your problems.
I clearly stated that the problem was cultural and that we all, meaning men and women, need to fight back against the anti-male stigma. Honestly, it was so extraordinary that out of that entire video, the takeaway of literally hundreds of MGTOW men was quite simply, but no video games! Don't you dare blame video games! Video games are the only reason I exist in this moment. I'm a 35-year-old single white male. I have a job and steady income. I don't date because of feminism. If you want to fix the dating scene, get rid of third-wave feminism.
Oh yes, you try to make your stupid accent so that you can ruin his opinion. You're so shitty.
Finally, just as feminists clearly want retribution for a patriarchal past, so do MGTOW extremists who want revenge for all the women that didn't want to sleep with them.
Again, this is the most bullshit argument I've ever heard. We're not Elliot Roger types. You're making up bullshit that we want revenge because women didn't sleep with us. This is the most bullshit thing I've ever heard.
They are simply two sides of the same toxic coin.
I would say that you're more toxic than anyone else, especially with your stupid makeup and white plaster paint.
Again, please note, I am not talking about your sensible, run-of-the-mill, confirmed bachelor MGTOW guy.
It's not MGTOW, it's MGTOW, you stupid piece of shit.
I have no problem with you. You do you, and good for you for finding meaning. But I do not tolerate extremism or identity politics or victim mentality.
I do not tolerate stupid chatbots and stupid arguments that are very stupid, have no core basis, and are only straw man arguments and are ad hominem attacks against men. Shut the fuck up.
get away with it, and I'm certainly not going to let MGTOW get away with it.
And I'm not going to let you get away with transfaultism.
So, to the MGTOW extremists I'm talking about, you are more than entitled to your opinions. I believe in free speech, even speech that I disagree with or find abhorrent. You still absolutely have a right to say what you want to say.
Now she's trying to act all chameleon-like. You can't free speech. You can do whatever you want. She's trying to act like a chameleon here.
But don't do it here. I take great pride in the fact that the comment sections of my videos are generally very positive and full of health.
Don't do it here means I support free speech as long as it's what I want to do. So you're trying to censor your own comment sections. Well then, if you can censor your own comment sections, then I can censor my own comment sections of stupid feminists and idiots such as you.
The discussion. I am not an edgelord. My videos and my community are family friendly. Now,
And now she's going to claim this family friendly BS. But anyways, this has been MGTOW and video games. We've roasted enough of what was roastable in this video. Anyways, this has been MGTOW and video games. Smash that like button, click subscribe, and hit the bell if you haven't already done so, and click the like button. And this is MGTOW and video games, and bye bye.